here with houseofguns.com, and first review here from the House of Guns shooting shop, because today I get to show you a product that is relatively new to me, but very, very exciting nonetheless. It is the Ultimate Shooting Rest by CTK Precision. You can find them online at ctkprecision.com. They have some great shooting solutions, and this is a neat product. Now, a lot of you might just use kind of a bare bones approach to your gunsmithing needs, you know, whether it be a vise or you know, you build something from scratch. Maybe you buy like a Tipton vise or something like that, but you haven't necessarily seen something like this that is very versatile, very, very solid, very customizable, and just a neat design. This is something that's new to me, as I said, something that I haven't seen before. So let me walk you through a few things on this CTK Precision Ultimate Shooting Rest, because I think it's something that you're really going to like. First of all, it's huge. Not like it's not functional huge, but it is a big piece of equipment. It is very, very sturdy. It's like 1-inch square steel pipe that they use for the frame. Nice welds in the corners. The T for the front is wide. Maybe you have a little bit more like a cheaper rest or something you're more familiar with. This is a Shooter's Ridge rest, and I want you to look at the size comparison between these two. It is, if I was to go end to end, this is about at least 6 inches shorter. Width-wise, it's about 4 inches narrower from here to here, and it does have a nice tilt option, but as far, you know, basically the bigger the gun you put on it, the more rickety it's going to be. The front yoke is okay to cradle, and I actually have a rear yoke too, but this is kind of the clamp that you can use. The problem with these is when they clamp in the back on another shooting rest, is getting a good cheek weld. A cheek weld is where you put your cheek on the comb of the buttstock. That's the top part of the buttstock here, for where you're going to anchor down and look through that sight every single time. It is very difficult on something that clamps like this to be able to do it and get in there comfortable. And you may have seen on our Savage video, our Savage Axis 243 review, how we actually used that Shooter's Ridge rest, and with the clamp, you know, it was very difficult to get in there and get comfortable and get our accurate shots in. Now, the gun grouped well, it was awesome, but maybe because the rest wasn't as good as it could have been, our groups could have improved. They could have been better. Maybe we could have sighted things in faster. That's where this Ultimate Shooting Rest from CTK Precision comes in, because this is a neat design, very, very smooth, and very rigid, tight, solid. So if you can get a solid table to shoot off of, you are not going to be disappointed by what this thing provides. So let's look at a couple things here. The rear buttstock rest that this has a ridge right down the middle of it. So when you set this down, I've got my Remington R15 here in 223, and the reason I do that is because I want to show you how roomy it is with something that has a pistol grip or a large magazine well. I've got my 20-round PMag here. You can see we can actually lift that up just a little bit, and there's room for that PMag in there. Plenty of clearance, no problem whatsoever, and you're going to be able to get down, get on the scope, and it's very smooth. This also brings me to another point, that all the knobs, all the adjustment points on this CTK rest are huge, which is so cool, because your elevation knobs that you have, 3 points of elevation knobs at all 3 contact points, with a nice little rubber shoe on the bottom of it. So it not only does it grip, but it's going to absorb that recoil and keep it from sliding. And the knobs are huge. Same goes for the buttstock rest here on the shooting rest. Now, this has a sleeve that fits over the square metal tube that acts as the frame, and you can slide this based on the size of the gun. So if I want to go up a little bit further with this, let's even say I'm shooting uphill, and I want to move this up and get the front end of this up, I can do so with this to start with, lock it in. I can adjust the angle of the rear rest with this guy down here, and it's got this this guide nut on here, and then the top one that helps adjust the elevation. They even machined CTK in the bottom of it, really cool with a red background. So not only is it super functional, but it looks pretty sweet too. And then you lay the thing down, and bam, just set it right there, perfect angle, and you will be able to get into it just right. Now, adjustment knobs are huge. The rear rest for it slides on a sleeve that goes along the entire length of this. So I don't have a handgun in here with me, but if you wanted to take off the rifle, all right, just for grins, if you want to take off the rifle, loosen this sucker up, slide it forward, bam, adjust the front yoke, and you have an awesome handgun rest for testing, sighting in short guns just by sliding this guy up. Lock it in. It's not going anywhere. Totally sturdy. You can even hear how sturdy it is that way. This is a nice solid bench, and so when I hit it, you can tell that that it is there. Another cool thing, and I'll move this back while I've got the rifle down. My rifle, I did put a magazine in, but it is unloaded, and I want to show you that because we're so big on safety. Okay, the R15 is unloaded, but they have nice, thick, this is about 3/4 inch, maybe probably 1/2 inch foam padding on all of the rest parts, and then a felt top to it that's been glued, fits in the grooves. It's not, it's very soft, but it's not cheap. It's very well done. There's no bubbles. There's no signs of this coming off. Both on the rear rest here, and you can see they've branded all their stuff with decals, or the front yoke, which I'll take out and show you. You can see the padding on that right there, and then the felt, which is thick too, so you can use your fine wood stock guns. It's not going to damage the stock. It's going to be really good stuff. And the front actually has a measuring tape on it. I'm sure you can see that there. So if you keep track, if you're super detailed, like some guys are at the range, when you go inside a gun, you open up a book and you know exactly where you were last time, specific loads, settings. Even on this, you can adjust settings on this Ultimate Shooting Rest to be mimicked time and time again. So when you get to the range, you pull it out, pull your book out, look and see where it's set. You're going to slide the yoke in, match up the front measurement on it, tighten it up with this awesome grip and tightening handle on there, and you're good to go immediately. And so you'll take it, rest it back in there, and this is also something I'll say that you're not going to have to be afraid to leave sitting on it when you go down to check your targets or change your targets. You know, I said that one benefit of this rest is that it's open. I firmly believe that. I think it's fantastic, and I love it. But I also want you to know that it's very cool because even though it's open and you just set your rifle into it, it's pretty sturdy too. This channel that they put in this rear rest is awesome, and you're with the foam on the front yoke of this. When you set your forend down in there, the weight of it, the weight of the barrel carries it down in, and it just sort of wraps around it. So the guys at CTK have done a fantastic job kind of rethinking this whole thing. And you say, well, why is that important, Eric? I'm not going to take something this big, something this heavy hunting with me. You know, that it doesn't make any sense if you're not, you know, just setting up a bench somewhere, putting this down and shooting prairie dogs for half a day, which would be awesome for that, by the way. Why do I need this? What's the point of a rest that's built this well, built this solid, and operates this smooth? Well, I would say that you know, the way you practice is the way that you play. If you want to get your gun sighted in right and you want to be on the same spot every time, there's no question. Every time you pull the trigger, you're not guessing about setting the crosshairs behind it because this thing is so solid. You're going to lay it there. You're going to adjust it, raise this up, slide the back over, adjust the elevation knobs on the sides. Whatever it is, you're going to lay that sucker down. Every time you pull the trigger, it's going to be in the same spot, and you can clearly define your accuracy and how a specific rifle shoots, how a scope adjusts, and because of that discipline that you have when you practice is going to make you a better shooter when you're in the field, when you're hunting, when it matters most. You're not going to be guessing about where your rifle's hitting or second guessing, well, maybe that rest wasn't just right, or I didn't handle that right before. So anyway, CTK Precision Ultimate Shooting Rest, fantastic product. You can check them out at ctkprecision.com, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. This is Adams with House of Guns, and happy shooting, everybody.